enemies before I go in order for the kennel world to do to work the way that I need it to work. As you'll see, we're gonna make a couple of trips through here, and it works a little bit differently every time, depending on how many enemies you've killed before you come in. And you can see I can walk through pretty much all the tiles here. And if you're familiar with this game, we just went from Dungeon 2, now we're in Dungeon 1. That staircase only works if I've killed 3 enemies coming in. That's why 3 is so important for this first trip. Otherwise, I can't even walk on the staircase. It's just completely unusable. Oh, I see him quit a little bit too early in that chest. I'm going to use a super jump here. Woohoo! Let's try that again. This time I'm going to use a super jump. Super jump. There we go. No! Oh, I gotta do that again. I went down instead of right first. Oh! It's been a long time since I made that mistake. I have to go back and get my power bracelet. Oh, I'm really upset about that. That stinks so much. Man! Alright. So like I said, we're going to be seeing this cave a lot, especially if I fill up some pretty easy movement. 1, 2, 3. But it does give me a chance to talk a little bit more about the tricks I've been showing off. But they come one right after the other. It's hard to explain how they work sometimes. But super jumping, which we're going to see when I get back into Dungeon 1 here, lets you jump off of... this game has jumpable cliffs. You can jump off of the top of cliffs and mountains and all sorts of different terrain. What super jumping lets you do is it lets you get the height boost of jumping off of the top of, say, this wall here. But I'll be able to get it while I'm at the bottom of the wall, which is going to give us lots of options for going out of bounds, sequence breaking. That's a staple trick in the speedrun for any Link's Awakening category, is picking up super jumping, and it's very easy to do. But most of the tricks in this game are very easy to pull off. Move. There we go. There's one of my 20 seashells. I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna buy the shovel with our 5-finger discount. First try, that's good. Now the shopkeeper can be stingy sometimes. Did we miss? How did we something go wrong with the stream? Did we miss something? Oh no. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Alright, so I've got my bow, got my shovel. So I won't have to go back into the shop for the rest of the game. But we did get zapped, which means we're not going to get the super special no-death ending, unfortunately. It's just a couple of extra seconds in the ending cutscene. There's our first piece of heart. And you'll be able to see that Link's Awakening is a pretty big game, especially for, a Game Boy title. There's a lot to do. Like, see, there are plenty of caves to explore. But when you can go out of bounds, you really start dicing up the map, and there's a lot of... you're going to go hopping around the map very, very quickly if you can just ignore boundaries. The way that the game is set up in game data, is a lot different from the way that it plays out in a casual playthrough. I gotta get one more. Alright, I gotta get one more after this one. In fact, I'm gonna clear out a little space for myself. Come on. There we go. So, that's just the fastest way to get down here to find a couple enemies to pick off. 3, 4, 5, 6. The reason why I'm beating up poor Granny there is I screen warp over the... Ooh, that was close. I screen warp over the trigger for the game to load in the other sprite set. So the enemies there just correspond to... They just happen to have Granny's sprite loaded in. And now for the next trip to the Kennel World, I need to kill 6 enemies. For the rest of the game, I need to kill 6 enemies anytime I want to go into the Kennel World. It's just the first trip that I need to specifically kill 3. Come here. Come here. Come here. There we go. Before we head to the Kennel World, I gotta do a little bit of fishing. And this big fat one that's underneath of Link has a piece of heart. that I have to grab. Yeah, got him. And if I close out this dialog box by hitting, you know, AB Start Select for the Save and Quit menu, actually it's going to let me walk out rather than ending the cutscene, really. And it's going to save me a couple of screens of movement back to pick up that seashell. But that's the first fishing minigame in the Legend of Zelda series. Pardon me, and you can see it's very, very simple. It's not nearly as complicated or frustrating as it is in Ocarina of Time speedruns. I think the fishing minigame is pretty tough there. I think it's not a speedrun I know anything about. And yes, I know there's no game audio. The music does not load in when you go in through the Kenner World. So even when I go into Dungeon 3, there's no game music. It'll be back in a minute or two. Trust me, as soon as I pick up the boots, if I let the music play out, it is not very pleasant to listen to right now. Ooh, alright, well I can make sure I'm lined up. Hello, screw warp. Alright, come on, dude. There we go. Man, oh. They're just in a bad spot. There we go, there are my boots. So I've got one more trip into the Kenner World. Hey, oh! Dude. One more trip into the Kenner World before I can make my way to Dungeon 8. And that's to pick up flippers. And between the flippers and the power bracelet and Rock's Feather, I'll be able to go anywhere I want to in the game. Even without glitching, pretty much. I'll have all the, all the items I need at my disposal. Yo. To the left. There we go. You can also use spoon warping just to save yourself having to travel across the room. You don't have to use it for sequence breaking. Alright, last trip here for a while. Whoops. Menuing, of course, in any Zelda speedrun, menuing is very, very important. And definitely one of the weaknesses in my game, if you will, is if I don't have boots on B, feather on A, I just get completely lost. So sometimes it takes a little bit of extra menuing, but I can't figure it out. I just get very, very confused. Oh my god, I gotta be careful. I got half a heart. Hold on. Let me get out of this room. Let me get out of this room. Alright. Oh no! Ooh, I didn't think I got this. Okay, good. I didn't think I got the first screen warp, so I went for it again. Nope. Get away. Get away. Get away. There we go. Okay. Now I feel a little safer. And so as I was saying before, screen warping is easy to do. The only time your timing really matters is when I want to go through a wall. Because at that point you've got to get it pretty spot on. Because Link sometimes will move just a little bit when you do a screen warp. Which if you're trying to get through a wall, that means you're not going to be on the edge of the screen where you need to be. But we're going to make our way to Dungeon 8 now. And use that by hitting this warp zone. I don't think I talked about it when I did it at the start of the game. But the first thing I did after I picked up the sword was I screen warped through the very bottom of the world map. You'll be able to see it now. I screen warped from the beach. And when you screen warp south from the beach, the game wraps you up to the top side of the map. Which unlocked that warp point here by Dungeon 8. You have to be careful on that screen getting that piece of heart as well. If you're low on health, it's very, very easy to accidentally duplicate that piece of heart by picking it up and then dying. Which, again, item duplication is a no-go. There's our fire rod, by the way. 1, 2, 3, just as simple as that. And then we're going to be making our way towards Hothead next. And there's no reason for, as I just left it, but those two tiles of, two walkable tiles I just used are purely there for decoration. There's no way for me to get there with inbounds play, but I'm really glad they're there because it makes Dungeon 8 very, very easy to do. But here's Hothead. Fun thing about doing Hothead first is his attacks deal 4 hearts worth of damage. Hooray! That's more health than I can possibly have at this point. Jumping into the lava only deals half a heart of damage, so if things get dicey, stay. Oh, there we go. I knew it was 1 hit short. That guy is so trolly sometimes. His hit points can be a little funny sometimes. I've seen completely accidentally somebody lose a very, very, very good speedrun on that boss by getting him stun locked with the fire rod and just mashing the button. You think you're doing all this damage, and what actually happened was he underflowed the boss's hit points. The sprite disappeared, but the game didn't register it as dead, and the game was just totally soft locked at that point. That boss just works a little bit funny. He can be very trolly. We're gonna make our way to Dungeon 7. I have a couple other errands to run before we get there. And I know I know that series of jumps looks really funny, but you have to do that to actually get walking out of bounds there. And we're back in Dungeon 1. We didn't get here inbounds, but these are rooms that are in Dungeon 1. That secret seashell is in that hidden room in Dungeon 1, if you're familiar with the game. And if I were to walk all the way back to Dungeon 1 right now, that treasure chest will already be open. And I mainly bring that up because, again, I can't duplicate items or anything like that. But those treasure chests that I'm picking up, even if I don't get there through inbounds play, those chests are marked as open if I were to go there normally. And I'm gonna grab these rupees just in case something really, really stupid happens later. Like, I don't know, I save and quit accidentally, picking up my 300 rupee chest, or 200 rupee chest later. But generally those rupees aren't needed. And, I think this guy's called the Mad Hatter in Link's Awakening as well. I know that's who he is in Link to the Past. And he gets very mad when you wake him up, and he's going to punish you by making you carry twice as much ammunition as you could before. It's a terrible, horrible curse. All 3 of his rooms, by the way, are right next to each other in game data. So if you can get out of bounds somehow, you can pick up all 3 of these inventory upgrades, just boom, 1, 2, 3, right in a little row like this. But on the world map, they're very, very spread out. If I were to use the ladders or the staircases in this room, I'd be nowhere near Dungeon 8 right now. But I want to go back, so I'm not gonna be taking advantage of that shortcut. Yes, this is the original version for the Game Boy. The DX version on Game Boy Color patched out screen warping. The Kennel World is still there, but it works very, very differently. In that you can actually pick up items in the Kennel World in the DX version. It's actually quite handy. If I were to open up chests in the Kennel World in the original version, generally you just get a bit of dialogue from various points in the game. But never any items. And I'm hopping around a little bit when I do these screen warps, because these cracked tiles will break underneath me, and if you screen warp around, the timer for when they break doesn't reset. Whoops, hold on. There's our Dungeon 7 key, and that long roundabout way skips the Rooster Skip. It's the Rooster Skip where I would go through that room there that I chose to fall down in. Normally you have to travel through that room by levitating using the hook shot and either a mushroom or... Oh no, I've forgotten what the item is that you use in the DX version. All of a sudden. But you actually just levitate through the whole room using your hook shot, and you completely skip getting the flying rooster in the speedrun. It is by far the toughest room, the toughest trick in Link's Awakening speedrun. So forget it. I don't want to do all that. That's a lot of work. Oops. You know, that other house there, I usually step in. I forgot to, I wanted to show it off today. But there are a lot of cameos of Nintendo characters in Link's Awakening. That rooster hut that we just went by is actually run by Luigi, who takes care of chickens in this game. Of course Luigi takes care of chickens. But we're also going to be seeing, if you play through casually, you'll run into Yoshi, you'll run into Princess Peach, who I think has named herself Christine in this game for whatever reason. Yoshi, Wart is in the game. We're actually going to see about half of Wart's face later. There are Goombas, Paragoombas. We'll run into something that looks like a Kirby later. There are a lot of little fun little Easter eggs to see in this game. Get out of here. Whoop. You can also grab that corner right there and throw it for whatever reason. Oh, I need powder. Hey. I'm gonna actually bother to do this air quote, this little side quest. This is optional if you're able to sequence break around, but it's faster for me to watch that little bit, come up here and grab the key this way, because now that I've saved Marin's dad, I can head back to town and learn Marin's song right away. The alternative is a very long roundabout side quest where I have to get Marin off from the beach and go meet her there and have this long conversation about life and flying and seagulls, and it's a real pain in the neck. And again, I screen warp through the loading trigger for sprites, so Marin looks a little bit different, but it's okay. That's right. That's right. Christine is using, yeah, you're right. That's how it was. I think Christine's a goat lady, if I remember. It's been a while since I played through the whole game. And whatever you do, do not mash B for this. All the text play through. Let this box play through, and then save and quit. Oh boy, you mashed through the B button there, man. You're gonna have a bad time. Oops, that's not my jump button. That's magic powder. That's okay. But that's enough running around for now. We're gonna make our way to Dungeon 7 next. Oh, screen warp. Come on. You can actually get into Dungeon 7 through the Kennel World pretty easily. The problem is when you leave Dungeon 7 after beating the boss, if you haven't opened the front door, you're soft locked on the tower, unable to move, unless you have Song 2 for the Ocarina, which we can get, but that's just a longer way to go about things, unfortunately. Oh! Man, alright, let me think. Oh, I'm an idiot. I should have gone to the left. I went one screen too far. Let me just run up here. So they keep inventing a brand new route to go with. So there was Kirby, by the way, and a Goomba. I don't know if we've run into Goombas yet, but in this game it's called an anti-Kirby. But he does kind of the same thing. He wants to swallow you up, spit you out. They tend to drop fairies if you defeat them, so if you're low on health and you have a way to take them out pretty easily, it's definitely worth it. I'm gonna flip the switch, screen warp over here. It's gonna let me bypass a key and come get the mirror shield. And I've already finished everything I need to use that I need with the mirror shield, so we're not actually ever going to use it. And this, by the way, that cannonball right there, man, that is some fun right there, having to mess around with that thing. We're gonna skip all of the puzzle mechanics in Dungeon 7. Normally you have to use that big wrecking ball to knock down the... What am I doing? Knock down support pillars that are throughout the dungeon. You knock down the support pillars and the roof of the dungeon crashes down. It lets you get access to the rooftop. It's a very long, drawn-out process to do all of that. It's a lot of work to do casually. In the speedrun, if you're playing a no out-of-bounds speedrun of this game, you still skip the pillars, but you do so by using bomb tricks, bomb trigger glitches. If you go out of bounds, though, you can just kind of meander your way over to the rooftop. And you're definitely not meant to have Fire Rod here. He goes down in 3 hits from the Magic Rod. The Magic Rod is extremely powerful. Oh shoot, I'm not doing... I could have showed off a slightly different strategy for that boss. Where you can hit him off screen, but you have to actually climb up the ladder to do that. Staying tucked in at the bottom there is a safer way to do that fight. Dungeon 6, Dungeon 6. We're going to pick up a couple of pretty well-hidden heart pieces on our way to Dungeon 6. So if you're missing a couple, it might be this one. That's in a big room with nothing in it. You might get suspicious and start swimming around in that room. The next piece of heart, though, is very well hidden. Like you'd have to do just a lot of blind exploration to kind of stumble into it. Screen warp? That was way too early. Oh, maybe not. No, that was definitely way too early. Come on. And again, there's 1 or 2 tiles of land down here for no reason other than decoration, but they're very, very handy. There we go. It's right here. Boom. Come on. Alright, so what I need to do next is get a screen warp while I'm swimming around. There we go, so I can get through that bridge. And just swimming around doing screen warping is not more difficult, it's just a lot more different. Your momentum's different, your speed is different, and everything's just different. No, half health. I'll just eat the damage. Yeah, those Armos do 3 hearts of damage, so if I'm doing a 3 heart run, I actually have to bother to clear them out. Nope, nope, not here. Don't screen warp that one. Bad things can happen when I screen through that room. So we're in a back room for Dungeon 6. I'm gonna hop out the staircase, grab this seashell. When I go back in, I can save and quit. Gold, split to Dungeon 6. Now we're at the start of Dungeon 6. That's no good. That'll work. Bomb arrows. Oh no! Oh, sugar. Oh, jeez. Go away, dude. Alright, well, don't flub your bomb arrows, kids. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you that there's a fairy under that plot on the right-hand side, and I'm going to choose to ignore that fairy. So when I game over on the boss here, trying to be a hero, feel free to rub it in my face. I know it's there. I'm going to have confidence that I don't need it. And then So I missed the screen warp, the timing in the screen just a little bit. You can recover it. That's just a very laggy room if you get stuck there. 1. All right, that's 1. That's 2. Come on. Nice. Okay, so I got 3 hits in on the boss before the fight even really started. He only takes 5 bombs. So that's a lot of damage to deal before the fight really starts. There we go. And that makes it very, very easy. Again, that strategy of quick killing the boss here is very easy to do when you walk through the front door. It's just a little more difficult when you screen warp in from the side, just because there's a pot in the way. And you've got to move that and then move to the center of the room and drop your bomb. It's just something that's a little bit different from the more standard categories of this game. Can you hurt that guy without bombs? I don't think so. But if you're dead set on doing a no-bomb run, you can make him disappear with the fire rod trick. But that does not count as defeating him. You're not going to get the piece of heart for it, and if you go back in the room later, he's still going to be there. But you can get through the room without fighting the boss. You can do that for any boss, but not if you're doing a 100% run, because you need the item drops. Where am I going? Yeah, I guess you could hurt his feelings by laughing at him. Oh, wait, nope. Thought it was in a different cave system for a second. I'm gonna need that fire rod back. And equip the wrong item. And so I've been come on, get up there. I've been following along with my split titles, split names. I do not have my notes pulled up. I gotta see if I gotta check my seashell count. What in the world? Get over here. There we go. Stubborn. Let's go. 12. Yeah, next time I pick up an instrument, or actually I can do it right here. So this is the one time in this category I'm going to use a bomb trigger glitch. In this situation, it's just as easy as it looks. You just kind of mash your bomb button until something really good happens. The way that's actually supposed to work is you drop 2 bombs in a 4-frame window. And it just so happens that that tile is a bottomless pit in game code, so it makes it very, very easy for you to drop 2 bombs in a 4-frame window. And what happens when you do that is the game starts to play whatever cutscene, special event, whatever special thing is supposed to happen on that screen. That special screen will start. So using the bomb trigger glitch lets you skip the ocarina entirely. The ocarina is entirely optional. And the only reason why I bother to pick it up is because I'm playing a 100% category. In any percent, no out of bounds, no... Any percent, no a lot of things. That trick is still allowed and you won't pick up the ocarina at all. You can use it to open up the Windfish Egg. You can use it to open up Dungeon 8. You can use it to skip the Walrus, which is a whole other can of worms. And you also use it in Dungeon 7 to knock down the pillars without using the Wrecking Ball, which is by far the biggest time save. That's a real pain in the neck otherwise, Dungeon 7. So we're going to be using screen warping to do a slightly different trick in this room. Each room can have a hidden item in it. The problem is the game can only keep track of 1 hidden item at a time. These are going to mess up my screen warp, so just get out of here. So the hidden item on the right here is a small key. So if I screen warp to the left, there's a hidden item on the screen. And a hidden item in this room is the hook shot. And now I've just skipped not 1, but 4 mini-boss fights by doing that. Again, because the game only keeps track of 1 hidden item per room. So the game doesn't drop a small key when I solve this puzzle, it drops a hidden item. And since I haven't picked up the small key, I can come back and pick it up, which is nice, because otherwise I'd have to glitch my way through the dungeon by going back to the Kennel World. Which is a pretty long trip from here, actually. Oops. You know what? Sometimes when I screen warp over to this chest, bad things happen anyway. That's not the fire rod. Alright, so you probably saw when I opened up the menu there that it was very, very laggy. And if not, we're going to see the trick again in a second. Actually, no, probably not, because you'll see it again later, but I don't need to do it here anymore. What's actually happening there is if you, hey, open the menu, at the same time the game's trying to draw that fireball on the screen. Oh, I missed it. The game gets stuck on the command to continue to draw the fireball, and it just ends up drawing so many fireballs on the screen at the same spot that there's no more room in Game Boy, the poor Game Boy's memory. I dropped this one too. There's no more room in game memory for the game to draw any more sprites on the screen. Oh, you couldn't get... okay. So I missed that screen warp. I'm having a bad day of screen warps today. So I'm going to see... That's a neat little backup strategy jump there. It might be faster just to go back to the start of dungeon, but I want to hit the screen warp. Now it's personal with the screen warp. Go away. Oh my goodness. I'm just having a terrible day with these screen warps. Dungeon 5, this dungeon tends to be where either... Jesus. Make up a ton of time versus PB, or it goes exactly like it's going today, and... everything just goes... Oh, you know what? Fine. Fine. We'll go the proper way to this boss fight. Whatever. Ay, ay, ay. I can't believe I missed it like 4 times in a row. That's just a bad day. Alright, so as I was saying earlier, I used the fire rod to, I don't think I actually got to finish the explanation of what I was doing. But when you use the fire rod glitch to draw so many fireballs on the screen, when you go to the next screen, the game can't draw any sprites on the screen because there's 16 fireballs on the screen. There's not room for anything. In that room, that means that the game can't spawn the mini-boss there. And since there's no mini-boss on the screen, then that means I must have beaten him, so the door should open. And you can just walk right on through the room. And you can do that for any room, really. It does not have to be, Oh! Okay. I'll take that. You can do that in any room. I could do that for the nightmare fights. I can do that for the windfish at the end of the game. But if you do that, the game doesn't count that as beating the boss. The boss will respawn. You don't get the heart piece drop. You can't roll the credits. But if you're doing a swordless one, you can just skip all the nightmares that way. Come on. Oh, and I'm gonna get miserable RNG on this boss too, right? Come here, come here, come here. This side, this side. No! That was bad. Come here. Come here. Alright. Now I'm just being silly. Come in. Ay, ay, ay. Dungeon 5, man. That is by far the biggest time variance when I speedrun this game. Alright, so yeah, that was I don't mind telling you guys. Oh, that was like a solid 2 minutes time lost in Dungeon 5. That was a rough one. But the boss there in Dungeon 5 has 8 hit points, if you will. He only takes damage when you hit him with the sword, and you can only hit him 4 times per grab. But you only deal 1 point of damage, regardless of whether or not you have the piece of power or if you have the level 2 sword. It's got to be 8 hits. So every time you grab him, you absolutely want to get 4 hits in, or that fight gets to be a lot longer than it has to be. And I stopped in that cave just for a second, just so I could save and quit and come right back. Ah! Can't actually do that. So actually, you can see right there, that's where the lens of truth is supposed to be. But right now, it's still the mermaid scale. For whatever reason, the last part of this this trading sequence works a little bit differently. And you have to turn in the mermaid scale before you can pick up the lens of truth. Which is okay, because as you can see, if you leave here and you haven't moved the statue, you're going to be soft locked there anyway and stuck in the statue. Come on. Come on. Fine. I need one more screen warp. There we go. All that screen warping lets me get past that big fat walrus there. He's taking a big old nap and won't get out of the way. There are other ways to skip the walrus, but that's one way to do a walrus skip. And there was a mini boss underneath the sand, but his hitbox is always, well, his hitbox is active at the start. So you can use bomb arrows or the fire rod to take him out before he can really even, you know, give it his big mini boss monologue at you. Yo! Oh, I could have screwed up that room. Dude. My bracelet. So that's a very important seashell to grab. It's very easy to forget to get that one. But as I said earlier, we're only grabbing 20 of 26 seashells. So if I miss one, if I miss one or two in the line, there are backup seashells even in a 100% run. I wanted to screen warp that. Hold on. Hold on. Let me reset a little bit here. There we go. That wasn't exactly the movement I was looking for. Oh, fudge ripple. Come on. My screen warping is terrible today. I like warmed up before the run too, which is what's really frustrating. Is I actually practiced. I really did. Come on. See, normally I don't have to do this one in the water. There we go. Jeez. Alright, so I just got the hook shot, and I'm done with it. So I'm gonna trade it in for the boomerang. A, because I need to get the boomerang for 100%. B, because the boomerang is also ridiculously strong. Alright, that's one. And I am gonna be counting 2-6 all over again, because we're gonna make another trip into the Kennel World as soon as I figure out how to get out of this cave. Oh my goodness. What is wrong with me today? Get over there, dude. Alright, so if you screen warp east from there, you end up in the Mabe Village Library, and now we're all the way back to the start of the game. And I need to kill 5 more bad guys. And I'm gonna use the fire rod to do it, so I don't have to leave town. One. The thing with using the fire rod like this is you have to let the sprite disappear. That's 3 total. Or it doesn't count as a kill. And if you go into the Kennel World with the wrong number of kills, at best you'll be stuck. At best you'll be stuck and you can save and quit out and, you know, try again. At worst you'll be stuck in the Kennel World basically forever. So that's no pressure or anything. Where am I going? Dungeon 4? Dungeon 4. Head to Dungeon 4. Boots. If you do happen to get into one where it won't let you save and quit to leave the Kennel World, you can get out of it, but it is a lot of work to do so, because your movement's very, very restricted. Sure. Alright, so we've already got the item from Dungeon 4, and we're already in the boss room, so we're done with Dungeon 4, and we really don't stay here too long. Mainly because this is, that's one boss room it's very, very easy to get to, kind of a shortcut into the boss fight for. Oh yes, the boomerang and the flying chicken. We're not going to see the flying chicken, but you can throw the boomerang, and before it returns to you, you pick up the flying chicken, and the boomerang can't return to you if you're flying around on a flying chicken. So the boomerang just hovers around you, or hovers underneath you rather, and it will follow you around, and you just mow everything down that way. What am I doing with my life? And I didn't get the trick anyway. It's just a sloppy run. Alright, so song 2, the fishy song, lets you warp back to the start of a dungeon, or, as we're about to find out, it'll also warp you to Crazy Trucy's house. It's kind of hard to see if you have a little bit of a lisp. Crazy Trucy's. I'm gonna pick up a magic potion from her. I just want to make sure I have enough money for this, and yeah. And to get song number 3. It says it right there in the splits. I gotta do a couple extra things around the witch's hut here. A very, very, very old route at this point. I would have picked this stuff up already. So I just gotta remember, just gotta tell myself to go and get it sometimes. That's not what I wanted to do. That also was not what I intended. Alright, so I know where my last 2 heart pieces are, so I'm good on those. How many seashells do I have? 15. I'll know in a second if I'm okay on those. Those aren't boots! Alright, so the last piece of heart we're actually going to pick up is the one that's in the well in Maid Village. That's supposed to be the first one you pick up in the game, generally speaking. It's very, very obvious that you're supposed to hop in the well and get something down there. But we're going to save it for the very end of the game. It's going to be one of the last 2 items that we pick up. Oops. I wanted to do that 1 tile south. Hold on. There we go. Oh my god, I'm having a hard time menuing today. There we go. Alright, so that looks like a leaf. It actually is the Dungeon 3 key. Wow, I completely forgot those are there. Oh my god. So that's not me having a bad day. I always miss that jump. Like, I can't do that jump. I have not. Let me save and quit here too, actually, because there's a lot of ways for me to soft lock the game in this cave. So take an extra save here. Not a bad idea. Alright, this is 16. Let me think. The one after Dungeon 3, 17, 18, 19, 20. Alright, good. So I'm good on Secret Seashells. I haven't missed any. So I don't have to go get the backup Secret Seashell that's in this cave. Like I said, there's lots of ways to get stuck in this cave. but I'll get to talk about now. This is actually where you fight the boss in Dungeon 7. That's the tower at the end of Dungeon 7. It just doesn't look the way that it should, obviously. Up, right, I'm gonna make sure I go to the second column, and then hop down. And I told you we were gonna see about half of Wart's face, and I meant it. This room's a little bit glitchy. Just a little bit. I don't have OBS, I can see it. Alright, so at least when I'm looking at it on OBS, it's very nicely, very calmly fading from one room background to the other. On my TV, I'm not looking at my TV. It looks absolutely dreadful on the TV. The flickering is very bad. And I talked over the best song in the game. I'm sorry, that was very rude of me to talk over the best song in the game. But I do want to point out, if you come into this room, again, from any room other than the top side of the room, or the staircase, the game will just soft lock, which is sad. But you see that little cracked tile up there in the top left corner? You gotta be careful about that cracked tile. Because you have to come in from the top side of the room, or the game will freeze. But if you come in the top side of the room, and you walk into that cracked tile, while the music is playing... Why did I do that? Oh, because I had to do that. While the music is playing, you'll continue to fall into the pit. Over and over and over and over again. And you'll lose health. And the frogs will just keep singing. They'll be singing, singing, singing. They'll be having a grand old time. And they'll take all 300 of your rupees. Then when they're done singing, you'll be out of health. You'll game over. You won't get the song because you didn't finish the cutscene. And you lose your money. And at that point, you just reset the whole run, or, you know, you go dig up another 300 rupees, which will take you a long time. That's a bad day. That's a bad day. Take it from me. Don't learn that lesson the hard way. Just avoid that cracked tile. It's bad. Alright, so I've actually got all the keys that I need to get through Dungeon 3, which is the key cavern. I'm supposed to use a ton of keys to get through here, but I can spoon warp around and have all these other tricks, so I only need 2. Plus the nightmare key. So I'm going to break this one with the key. For this one, I'm going to jump into it and hold diagonally towards the staircase. And when that text box appears to tell me I need a key... Fudge. When that text box appears to tell me I need a key to get through there, it actually gives you 1 frame of free movement, I think is how it works. So you can sneak your way through that corner. And you are definitely not meant to have the fire rod here. So this boss fight's going to go very quickly. You do still need boots and sword to split the eyeballs up. But they go down in 1 hit from the fire rod. You can also do Dungeon 3 with just 1 small key. I don't know if you need any small keys, actually. No, you'd need 1 small key. And you can screen warp into the instrument room and then screen warp into the boss fight. The problem with that is the boss doesn't always spawn on the screen if you do that. And sometimes you have to wait a very long time for him to, you know, slither on over back to where you can actually fight him. So that ends up not being any faster. Where'd my feather go? There we go. Alright. Oh, I should have gone in this column. Forget it. Boom, 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 boom. 19, alright, good. So we're definitely good on secret seashells. And the portable Zeldas are really good. I skipped the Game Boy Advanced, so I have not played Minish Cap. But I've got to get around to Minish Cap. Minish Cap looks like it's a blast to play. So the nice thing about the Seashell Shack is if I save and quit from here, it's going to send me all the way back to Dungeon 3. But I'm going to make sure I use this Fire Rod trick here because the owl is going to spawn there and he's going to want to talk to me. And if I play my cards right, we're not going to see the owl once during this run. 2. Make our last trip into the Kennel World here. Asterisk, unless I messed something up. 4. Hopefully, the last trip into the Kennel World. 5, 6. And we're actually headed to Dungeon 2 next. And you'll probably think, hey, you know, as soon as you enter the Kennel World, you're already in Dungeon 2. And you're absolutely right about that. We are going to be in Dungeon 2 right now. All of these rooms are in Dungeon 2, and we're about to see them again. But I can't actually get to where I want to go from the Kennel World. So I've got to get back in bounds. Air quote, back in bounds. Back into the real Kennel World. So just hop up the staircase, hop down the staircase. Ooh, 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 ooh. For this room, see, this room I have to kill these enemies in a certain order. So I've got to be careful. I have to kill them in a certain order to make the chest appear. That, by the way, every time I watch people playing this for the first time on Twitch, this is the room they're stuck in. You have to kill the enemies in a certain order there. And I only bring that up because I can't use the Fire Rod glitch for that room. Because that kills all the enemies at the same time, and I need to kill them all at different times. I don't know if I can get that bat from here. If not, yeah. I was gonna say, if not, I'm just gonna risk it. That's not what I wanted to do here. I'm gonna do that over here. So if I do this right, I'll screen warp into the room. Yes! And use the Fire Rod glitch. Ha ha ha! Man, I don't usually get that. I'm so happy with myself right now. So I actually combined both tricks there. And I cleared out all the enemies in that second room there, which opens up the staircase, and it let me screen warp through, which put me right by the staircase. It looks so good when it goes right. I need a sword. Alright, so the Mad Genie of Dungeon 2. You can see we have a ton of health for this guy. We're more than well prepared for him. In a casual playthrough, you might have 5 hearts if you're really, really ambitious. You might have 5 hearts, and this boss has a lot more health than you at that point. But you can skip the entire first phase by getting a wall clip up here and kind of throwing the Mad Genie out of bounds. I need bombs. And then I'm going to drop a bomb there. Wait. And then try to use my Fire Rod to knock him back into the bomb. Now, if your MLG Pro level strat would be, you knock him into the bomb with your magic rod, and then the bomb blows up and knocks him by the door. And then the piece of art spawns by the door, and you can walk right out, and it saves you frames. It saves you a little bit of movement. Just be happy with getting the quick kill on him. Because I am no good at getting that time. I'm just happy getting the quick kill there. Because he has a ton of health for a level 2 boss. He's pretty rough. I think you have to do the thing with the bottle. You have to throw the bottle against the wall, I think, 3 times. And then you probably don't have arrows. You might have some bombs, but no arrows to work with. You won't have the magic rod. You really got to whittle down his health pretty slowly from that point. At least in a casual playthrough. That boss stinks. You know what? At some point in this speedrun, I'm gonna get into a group with these screen warps, and they're gonna look really good. I don't know when that is. I'm running out of dungeons, but it'll happen before the end. I'm sure of it. But just one dungeon left. Dungeon 1. Oh hey, I didn't mean to show off the fairy, but there's always a fairy in that tree if you bonk into it with the boots. And I'm gonna hide out in the... I mainly hide out in the house there just in case I get stuck in a tree. Oops. But not an issue today. There we go. And we're not going to be in Dungeon 1 for very long either. I'm going to try this without getting that small key. Let's see how it goes. Heck yes! Haha! So I'm going to use a fire rod glitch here just to clear out the mini-boss that's usually there. Not a big deal if you have to fight him. The magic rod takes him down pretty quickly anyway. And then for the Dungeon 1 boss, I have the level 2 sword. Wow, so if I can figure out how to jump, there we go. One spin attack takes him down in one shot. It's really nice. Alright, so you'll see I'm missing, I'm done with dungeons. I'm still missing one heart, which we're gonna go finish up. We're gonna pick that up next. And if I open up the menu, I'm also missing the Dungeon 6 key. So I'm gonna pick up those 2 items and then head toward the Windfish Egg and go fight the boss. Except we're not gonna head to the Windfish Egg. We're gonna skip that too. And as a matter of fact, the entire rest of the game, all the exploring we're going to be doing is going to be from this poor lady's house that we're just gonna raid and set up camp in for a couple of save and quits. Alright, let's see if I can figure out how to get through a screen warp or 2. Come on. Yes. Heck yeah, look at that. I got 2 in a row. 3 in a row. Oh man, now I'm on a roll. See, now I'm on a... Okay, so right here, I'm gonna come up in the top left corner, I'm gonna screen warp to the left, go to the left, and now I'm at the bottom of the well. And I gotta wiggle my way around here. But there's our last piece of heart. It's gonna finish out our health. You know what, I'm gonna let it show up on the screen first. There we go. Save and quit. I'm gonna do it again. Come up here in the corner. I don't think I got a good one. Nope. Gotta reset. And now I'm curious. Yeah, you can talk to them. Okay. There we go. And from here, I'm gonna in the top left corner again, and we're gonna go to the left. I think it's 6 screens, but I'll know it when I see it. Here we go. Alright, so not anywhere near 6 screens. I'm just gonna put us in the RBO shrine. And this is where you're supposed to get the Dungeon 6 key. And the fire rod takes him down very, very quickly. The only real danger is sometimes you can knock him back so much that the key spawns out of bounds. I've had it happen once, but it happened once, so I like to mention it. And that's, yep, that's everything. We've got everything we need for 100%. Now all we gotta do is beat the boss and roll the credits. So, it would be fitting for this run that I miss, like, the last screen warp that I need in the game. It really would be. There we go. I hop over here. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And hop into the boss fight. Alright, so I'm going to be going for a quick kill here, right on this first form. Let me see if I get it, and then I can show you what's going on, tell you what's going on. Ah! Alright, so I got it. I probably got one hit in. Let's see. Yeah, I got one hit in. That's unfortunate. But if you time your spin slash correctly and then slash him again, it's pretty funny. You can actually just stick your sword in the blob and wiggle back and forth, and eventually you just kill the boss that way. And you don't have to do it there off the first hit. If you're very, very good, you can actually get it off of second and third bounces, if you will, when he starts bouncing around. So you don't have to use the magic powder on the first form, like most people think, but I don't know how you're ever gonna find the timing for the sword slash other than off of the initial jump. And then we've seen this boss fight before. I gotta reflect the magic back at him. Sometimes I can't reflect the magic back. There we go. So I'm gonna go for a quick kill here too. Oh, I think I'm too far to the left. My god. This is a really sloppy run start to finish. What am I doing? Boots! Oh my god. Get over here, dude. I'm gonna let him move. I'm gonna let him move because I completely dropped that whole phase of the boss fight. Oh my god, what a sloppy run from start to finish. Alright. But all of that eventually just leads us to this last phase here against Deathel. You gotta wait for him to open up his eye before you can deal any damage. You can use 16 arrows. That's one way to bring him down. If you're like clinically insane, you can use 16 bombs, which means you have to time the bombs with the eye opening. Good luck. Just good luck with that. You can also use the boomerang, which kills him in one hit. But the boomerang hitbox is a little goofy, as you can tell. I'm just gonna go for a maximum troll run today, apparently. Open up, dude! Oops, I did not mean to jump. And that threw off my timing there. And then time is when the screen fades to white, 104.50, so I think I'm just under my estimate. Good gravy. That was a tough run, start to finish. Jeez Louise, that run was terrible from start to finish. But we finished it, that's the important thing. We finished under estimate, that's also important. And we didn't save Hyrule. Well, we're not in Hyrule, by the way. This is Koholint Isle. And spoiler alert, the whole island's a dream, and now we have woken the windfish, which is a big whale, not a fish. And since he's waking up, the dream ends, the island disappears, so on and so forth. And that's it for Link's Awakening. Thank you for having me at Retrothon, and good luck to everybody else for the rest of the event.